So I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Let me try to turn the camera so you can see. You see that right there? I don't know what or how that happened, but that is not good. That is not good at all. That is a crack in the bottom half of this engine, which is going to be very bad for me. I need to open this up again. Stay tuned. So in an okay turn of events, it turns out that that scratch was just surface and it's not actually cracked at all. So that's some really good news. Really good news. All right, what's going on, Focus Crew? It's Jamil with Focused Hands. And today we are supposed to be working on the clutch, but instead of that video, I wanted to rebuild the engine again, and I've already kind of started, and I wanted to take you along for the ride so that maybe you could see or catch, you know, something in here that I may be doing wrong or missing. I doubt that I'm missing a step, but it's always good to have a second and third opinion on how things are done, just to bounce ideas off of. So if that's you and you like to be able to get your input on things, well, here's your chance. So what I'm going to be doing here is putting the bearings back in. These are brand new bearings. On them, there is a little bit of wear. I won't say wear, but let me see. It's got a little bit. I can rub my fingers across it, and there's no grooves or anything. I'm guessing that's just from the crankshaft trying to turn for first start when it never got around to starting. So hopefully that's it. But I believe these bearings are still good. So I'm going to use them again. Like I said, the car never fired, so don't have to worry about that. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get these on. I'm going to go finish the rest of them. I've already put the main the main bearing in, and one of the side ones. And I'm going to try to line these up where they sit flush with the surface here, and everything will be Gucci there. So let's get going. Come on, focus in. There we go. That's focused enough. Doesn't look bad. I don't have any scarring in it. I'm going to clean it up and place it. Set this down in here. Try to get it flat on both sides. Just right. Come down here and look at it. That looks pretty good. Slide you over so you can see. How's that looking so far? All right, let's get another one. All right, here goes the other one. There's a small little speck in this one. Man, camera, you need to focus. A small little speck in this one. I think if you can see it right there. But I can rub my fingers across it and it doesn't groove, so I'm gonna place it. All right, last one. See if I can get you a little close up here. What it looks like. There we go. So do you see? God dang it. Let me get better. Come on. So you see that? I don't know if that's bad or not, but there's no, I can rub my fingers across it and it's fine. I don't feel any grooves. So I'm gonna place it. So here goes the look at all of them in the slots. So far so good. So what I'm gonna do is put a little bit of the green glue on it and we'll go from there just to lubricate it. So I picked up this assembly lube, I believe off of Amazon. I'll try to remember to link this in the description. but I'm going to put this on each of the bearings and then put the crank down on top of it. First, I'm going to give it one more wipe. I'll go grab the crank. Let me get you right on camera. This should be spinning freely as I go to turn it. And it is. So got a little bit. You got to make sure you clean off all the debris that's on it. You don't want anything getting caught between your, your bearing surfaces, because that will create pits. But this overall looks pretty good. And it feels pretty smooth, so I'm happy with that. All right, so let's get up here with the rods. Actually, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Got to put the girdle back on, and we'll do that now. Sorry, I'm trying to think about what I want to do at the same time while trying to tell you what I'm doing. Sorry. Anyway, let me get back on track here. All right, so next thing is going to be reinstallation of the main studs, all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. And I believe these are going hand tight. I'm actually going to have to watch my own video because I no longer have the paperwork for these items. And that's another thing I like to tell you. You should always keep the paperwork for your custom items, just in case you have to take everything apart and put it back together. And so I no longer have that. Luckily, I have a journal, a YouTube channel. It was basically my video log for everything I've done for this engine and car that I can go back and reference from. So if you don't have videos for you, you might want to make sure that you either keep the information or be able to call said company and get them to send you out the stuff. Anyway, let's get these main studs in. Wrong hole, and I had it upside down. All right, so got that all fixed up. Up next, we're gonna bring over the girdle, push that down in place, bolt everything in, and torque it down the spec. And we'll move on to the next thing. So let's go ahead. I already got the girdle cleaned. It's already had the bearings already pressed into it. So all I gotta do is drop it in. I'm gonna add a little bit more assembly lube to the areas of where the bearings are gonna sit. It can't hurt. You need this end of the girdle to be facing the rear main seal, because this is where the rear main seal is going to attach to. Just FYI, you don't want to do it this way because you won't have anything to attach to the rear main seal. And that's why I left these 2 bolts in here. So all you do is line these bad boys up. Find the hole. Found 1 hole, found 2 holes, 3 holes, and in, just like that. And we'll boom, 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 like I said, on all the bolts. I'm gonna do that off camera. Don't need to see that. Stay tuned. Oh, and by the way, yes, you wanna take a dead blow and hit down on these areas to fully seat the girdle onto the crankshaft. I did do this. All right, so I called over to SuperTech, and shout out to SuperTech for answering my questions. And this is where these pistons came from. In the video where I built the engine the first time around, and yeah, I'm on putting the pistons back in, sorry. This is a cut way after. I'm running out of battery life. I didn't charge my phone. Anyway, so I made a comment about not knowing which side was intake and exhaust, because they legitimately look the same. So when I called over to SuperTech, they were like, yeah, this little dot on a journal pin here, that should be facing towards the exhaust side of the engine, if that makes sense. So basically it should be facing like this. The exhaust side is over here, intake side is on this side, and it should be sitting like this. So evidently I had it correct. I also had them check to see if I installed the piston rings correctly with the silver on top and the black below, and that is also correct. So there is not an issue there at all. So now, like I said, I'm working on putting these back in, and I will reconvene once this is done. Stay tuned. All right, so I got the pistons all in, and it's not fully torqued yet, but I'll get to that step at a later date. All right, so we're back, and we got some parts in. Actually, got a couple of parts in, building a table that'll come later on. I haven't even recorded this, but anyway, back on task. Let's go ahead and get this lifted off and put somewhere safe. We're gonna reuse this again. Put it up there. All right, so here's our work. Here's where the oil pump's gonna go, and this is what this is. Let's get this unpackaged and put into the spot. All right, got our pump here. It has dowels. Oh, don't want to drop it. So the oil pump has dowels here in the back, right here and here. I'm gonna make sure you line those dowels up with the corresponding spots here, here, and here, and you will be okay. So we're going to this. Make sure we get those dowels in. Just make sure I got that one, and that one automatically goes home. Okay. Not that I don't want to use power tools, it's just really easy not to use them. There we go. All right, so now we're at the step where we are going to, well, I've already tightened this down to 25 foot-pounds, the rod bolts. And now I've already got my angle set to 0. It's reset to 0, got it tightened, and I have it inside of one of the hole locations for the oil pan so that this doesn't move around when I'm turning the breaker bar to hit this angle. Each of these rod bolts should be 25 foot-pounds plus a 55-degree turn. So don't forget that important step. You can skip this if you already have a digital torque wrench with an angle adjustment, but I don't have one of those. So this is the next best thing. And I don't know why I don't have one of those. I should just buy one, but this works if you do it right and take your time. So you would have saw this in the other video I'm just telling you what I'm doing, but I'm going to go ahead and do it, and we'll meet up after I finish. Okay, oil point. It's hot in this garage. I think it's 99 degrees in here. That's no excuse. Oil pump is torqued down. All of the rod bolts are now twisted and torqued to specification at the right angle. It's pretty fun to do. Again, nerve-wracking. It's probably the most nerve-wracking part thus far in this build, is that it really gets me every time, having to turn that and really hoping those bolts don't snap. It just really, you'll see what I'm talking about when you do something like this yourself. Anyway, so the next thing is going to be getting the oil pickup tube back on. You want to make sure you put your oil pickup tube on, otherwise that'll be a very bad day for you. I'm going to scrape off this gasket that's on here. Let's see if you can see it. See that? I'm going to scrape off all this gasket. We'll get that oil tube back on. We will re-sandwich the oil pan and get it nice and fitted on. We'll flip it over at that point and start getting ready to work on the old head that's over there. And we can start building this thing back up. So stay tuned. All right, focus crew. So we've made it to the good old top of the block here. I have each of the pistons, the top 1 and 4 up a little bit, and 2 and 3 down a little bit. So when I go to put the head on, the valves won't interact with the top of the piston when I'm trying to set the timing. And this time I'm going to be, I was pretty meticulous the last time I did this, but I'm going to be even much more, probably grade A or type A this time around when doing this, because I'm going to make sure I'm hitting everything exactly right. I got the oil pan on, as you can see, oil pumps in. If I missed anything, that's a bad day for me, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. And yeah, it's ready to go. It's ready to go. I'm just gonna put a bag on it. I'm still missing a part that I thought was in, but it's not, and that is the head gasket. But in the meantime, I'm gonna take the head in and get the valves and the valve springs replaced, so that all those things can be new, just like all the new components that I put on this engine. And hopefully this thing is timed up and starts, and I get the transmission fixed, and we can drive this thing, sand it down, get it painted, and do a final reveal so that we can start season 3. That's the goal of all of this right now. Yeah, it sucks that I have to do this again, but hopefully someone out there, and if you're watching, congratulations. I'm glad you're able to fix your car. I'm glad I'm able to help. Anyway, let's go ahead and shut down again for tonight, and we'll pick up once that part arrives. Stay tuned. All right, so we're back. Got it all cleaned up. We finally got the parts that we needed in to continue the build. Make sure you get all this up and out of there. Got the head gasket in, the new head gasket in, and whatnot. And we can continue working, like I said. Let me go grab the head studs. And for those, I know you do them hand tight, and that's it. So let's move on to that. All right, YouTube, so the head is back on, and you've seen this before if you watch my video where basically you can watch paint dry faster than I actually got the video out. We are back at the step where we're going to tighten down or torque down the head bolts or the head studs. So this requires, and if you didn't see the other video, you should go check it out, help me out here. But the head bolts and nuts require 3 steps of 60 foot-pound torquing. So what I'm going to do to get to that 60 foot-pound torquing is I'm going to do a 20, 30, and 60, can't see my other finger, rotation. It'd probably be like, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10 over here. Or maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's think of how I'll do it. 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 as the torquing sequence that I'm going to do to make sure it's torqued even across the surface. You don't want it warped or anything like that. Anyway, so let's go ahead and do that, and I won't show you that part because you know you've seen it before. But just want to give you a little bit of update what I'm doing. Stay tuned. Okay, so the head is now torqued down to spec according to ARP's torque specs on what I need to do for these particular head studs. If you're using head bolts, the torque specking will be different. You would have to do angles as well. So, you know, choose wisely on that front. You may not need head studs if you're not trying to run more power. Obviously, this engine, I want to run more power, so you're definitely going to have to get head studs because those head bolts won't be able to hold. All right, so now with that finished, we'll move on to putting back on the chain, the cams, and all that good stuff in another episode. But this one's already running kind of long. And besides, you know, you all have seen this already if you've watched any, and hopefully my other videos, that I would be really excited to hear that you've done that. And let me know down in the comment section how long you've been rocking the channel, because we're getting close. We're getting close to 800, and we're getting close to that 1,000. And you know, we're gonna grow. We have some things that we're gonna be doing to try to help get some focuses back on the road and keep some focuses on the road. So stay tuned and you know, show your support. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here, and I will catch you in a week or two. I'm still waiting on parts for the transmission. They're just taking forever to get here. A lot of the parts are dealer parts, so they have to be ordered through the dealer, but I ordered them on FordPartsGiant.com. So if you're looking for stuff specifically for your Focus that you can't find anywhere else, you might be able to find it on FordPartsGiant.com. I normally go there when, you know, when Rock Auto doesn't have what I'm looking for, or Master Speed System doesn't have what I'm looking for. I'll go to FordPartsGiant.com and hopefully they have it. If they don't have it, then you know you got to go to the Ford dealer, and if the Ford dealer doesn't have it, then you're out of luck. So we need more engineers in the space to re-engineer new parts that will work for old cars. So it'll be great. It'll be really great. Anyway, Focused Hands signing off. Peace.